Prince Harry didn't land in the UK for quiet bonding or polite tea-time pleasantries. He arrived with intent, a mission Meghan Markle did not script. This trip had a single purpose: reclaim space inside the royal fold. And he didn't walk in empty-handed. He came armed with iPhone footage, photos and videos of Archie and Lily, like royal playing cards, ready to be laid on the table before King Charles. It was a power move, soft in tone but sharp in aim. Because if there's one thing the monarchy prizes above titles and traditions, it's legacy. And legacy doesn't run on headlines. It runs on airs. The meeting was no sweeping reunion. 55 minutes, that's all. Short, contained, but heavy with meaning. After nearly 2 years of silence, passive-aggressive press sniping and public jabs, father and son sat down alone at Clarence's house. No Camilla, no aides, just two men, and a phone full of moments the Crown has barely witnessed. Harry showed videos of the children Charles hardly knows. Archie, seen a handful of times. Lilibet, properly met once. That's the ledger. Yet the public story long sold by Meghan has painted a different picture. Cut off? Victimized? Ignored. But who swung the blade? The evidence, at least in that room, told a quieter, blunter truth. For Meghan, this wasn't olive branch season. This was DEFCON 1. Harry's UK reunion tour is the storyline she didn't authorize. He's beaming at Invictus engagements, shaking hands, offering polished, almost relieved sound bites about how good it feels to be home. He looks like a man stepping back into a suit that still fits. None of it was accidental. This was months in the making, brokered carefully by people on both sides, nudging the door open without forcing it off its hinges. Meghan's role? Nowhere in sight. Not in person, not even as a virtual shadow. Not in statements. And that absence is the point. This wasn't about the Sussexes. It was about Harry. Full stop. For years, their brand sold itself as a package deal. We want privacy. We want freedom. We're in this together. But packages can split at the seams, and the cracks are showing. Meghan stayed in California, reportedly too busy with a brand nobody asked for, trying to refashion herself into a wellness oracle with a food and wine label that feels more hypothetical than real. While she workshopped reinvention, Harry was sipping tea with his father and hugging old friends. That's not the script Meghan spent years writing. She didn't extract Harry from royal gravity, sever ties, and salt the earth from Windsor to Wales just to watch him stroll through London grinning like a prodigal. That flips the narrative. That threatens the product. Because if Harry's comfortable near the crown again, then the Sussex rebel identity, the engine of their post-palace monetization, stalls out. It stops being us versus the firm and starts to look like Harry may want back in, but Meghan isn't on the guest list. Meghan is a master of framing. She gives the interviews, drops the quotes, and when the tide turns, she plays the card she knows. Persecution. I was the most bullied person in the world. They tried to destroy me. Call it emotional jujitsu. It has worked, but it falters if Harry is grinning about tea with his dad. It doesn't match the script. It makes her look like the outlier, not the oppressed duchess she spent years embodying. Then there are the children. Meghan's ace, the ultimate leverage. Tucked away behind Montecito gates like crown jewels under contract, Archie and Lilibet have been, whether admitted or not, their most persuasive narrative asset. When Harry shows those photos to Charles, it's not just sweet, it's strategic. It's Harry saying, "This is what you've missed, and this is what I can bring back." Because he knows he left something behind. Maybe it took years to own it, but he knows. In Britain, he was a prince, a soldier, a favored son. In California, he's another man looking for meaning between surf lessons and therapy appointments. No Netflix doc or chicken coop content can fill that identity gap. You can take the man out of the palace, but the palace doesn't evaporate from the man. He's reportedly told friends this isn't the life he thought he was signing up for. The promises, financial independence, creative control, purpose, came with a cost, and the glow dimmed fast. Meghan's ambition still burns. Harry's has flickered. This trip relit the pilot light. Being home, even briefly, reminded him who he used to be. Prince Harry, the people's prince, liked, respected, rooted. Not just a +1 with a good backstory. That is Meghan's real nightmare. Not a tabloid mess or a podcast flop, but a husband rediscovering the part of himself that doesn't require her to feel whole. Back in Montecito, there was no champagne pop. Meghan watched from a distance as her husband re-entered the world she worked to escape. Her carefully curated narrative of a cold, calcified institution started colliding with Harry's warm reviews of home. She thrives on control. Losing the frame shakes her. In California, her life is choreographed. Dawn starts, brand calls, investor decks, hands on everything. She wants to be CEO, creative lead, public figure, and ends up stretched thin across projects that refuse to land. The lifestyle brand has stalled. The industry whispers aren't kind. Buyers confused, attention drifting. The Duchess in Exile glamour doesn't move product in a market that demands results. Her biggest problem now isn't business, it's optics. Harry was supposed to be her partner in the post-royal project. Instead, he looks like a solo act rediscovering the stage. The British public may be skeptical, but they still warm to him more than they ever warmed to her. He's the prodigal son. She's the outsider they never wanted to claim. As he moved through London with ease, her absence shouted louder than any headline. Insiders say the tension hasn't exploded. It's expanded. Not fights, distance. Meghan, once looped into every decision, now often runs her own tracks. Harry, meanwhile, drifts in the evenings, while she buries herself in the machinery of reinvention. Friends describe the gap as growing, even if no one says it out loud. Harry thrives in connection. He likes crowds, energy, laughter. The UK felt like oxygen after years of PR claustrophobia. For a moment, he didn't need to explain himself. He just fit. And that's the rub for Meghan. If he feels he belongs there, what becomes of the life here? The brand, the identity, the marketable rebellion. She didn't leave to become half royal, half influencer, but that's the limbo they're in. Netflix deals dried up, Spotify cut the cord, Hollywood cooled. The machine doesn't wait and it doesn't care. Without the Sussex edge, they're just another name among creators hustling for attention. So what does Meghan do? She can't publicly undermine Harry's UK glow. That only feeds rumors of fractures. She can't fully endorse it either. It threatens her post-royal persona. Returning to royal proximity means following rules she swore off. The booze, the grins through grit, the wordless protocols. She's not going back. Harry might, not for formality, but for what formality once gave him: respect, certainty, belonging. In Britain, he mattered. In California, he's Meghan's husband. A talk show anecdote, a cameo in someone else's ambition. That stings the man who once stood second only to his mother in the public's affection. His UK reception added kindling. Crowds showed up. Veterans saluted. People cheered. It wasn't perfunctory. It was warm. California offers sun. It rarely offers that. Meghan knows it. She can smile and post support, but she feels the ground shift. This wasn't supposed to happen. He was meant to anchor more deeply into her world. Instead, he's refinding parts of himself that predate and don't require her. The irony is sharp. She pulled him from the palace to protect him and to free him. Now the freedom tastes like isolation, and he wants a return ticket, not to stifling protocol, but to the identity that made sense. On the flight back to California, Harry scrolled through a phone of smiles, handshakes, reunions. The weight in his chest wasn't nostalgia, it was clarity. For the first time in years, He saw how life could feel without constant friction and performative reinvention. He landed in Montecito to Meghan, perfectly composed, smile tight, questions ready. How did Charles seem? How did events play? Not curiosity, calibration. Did he stick to the plan? Protect the brand? He answered. Part of him had already stepped away. No carousel of curated posts could replace what he felt in London. Belonging, legacy, the ease of being seen with respect, not confusion. Meghan sensed the shift. This wasn't the same man who'd left. Silences lengthened. Dinners shortened. Harry spent hours outdoors, surfing, driving nowhere in particular. Meghan did what Meghan does. She went harder. Zooms, product reviews, charity appearances, busyness as bulwark. The press noticed the change in wind. British tabloids ran with "homesick prince," and the American outlets followed. Royal soft reset. The optics slipped from her hands. Inside their circle, the mood was reflective, not reactive. Harry asked larger questions about the children, the future, the life he wants them to know. Increasingly, the answers pointed away from Montecito and back toward Windsor, Balmoral, Clarence House, toward legacy, not lifestyle. Meghan's life is a bet on reinvention. It always has been. From actress to duchess to founder, she evolves. Reinvention works best with a partner who evolves in step. Harry feels like he's rewinding, reconnecting, reclaiming an older self she thought they'd retired. So the whispers start, not divorce, not now, but distance. Separate projects, separate appearances. Harry in Britain more often. Meghan doubling down on America. Publicly, it would be evolving priorities, individual growth, mutual support. In reality, it's a fracture couched in brand language. At the center of that fracture are two young children who scarcely know either side of their extended family. Royal by blood, raised in a curated exile, Harry wants them to feel what he felt on that trip. The gardens he ran through, the rooms that knew him before the noise, the cousins whose names shouldn't be headlines but hand-me-down secrets. Meghan's dream for them is independence, freedom from the crown's grip. But freedom can curdle into isolation. Children need roots as much as wings. After that 55-minute meeting, it's harder for Harry to justify keeping them distant from their grandfather, their cousins, their history. For all his flaws, Charles gave Harry something precious: unfiltered time. No Camilla, no advisors, just father and son. 55 minutes cracked a door many assumed was welded shut. The institution hasn't forgiven. William is still stone. The palace still sees Harry as a risk. But a door that is even slightly ajar changes the geometry of the corridor. As autumn approaches, the quiet plan is another visit. Low profile, perhaps with the children. Meghan is reportedly weighing optics, but the cards aren't all in her hand anymore. Harry has found something sturdier than brand deals. Purpose doesn't answer to PR. Whatever comes next won't be a press conference. It will be the sum of quiet choices, where Harry spends his time, whom he brings his children to meet, which invitations he accepts, which causes he quietly shores up. And one day, maybe not soon, but inevitably, there will be that photo. Harry on British soil, shoulders looser than they've been in years, his children at his side, not as props, but as kin, surrounded by the kind of welcome you can't stage and the kind of history you can't buy. That moment won't announce itself with a headline. It will simply confirm what this trip already revealed. In the tug-of-war between brand and blood, Harry has remembered which side gives him back his name.